In this story, a human leader was invited to an ancient ceremony to witness the birth of an alien leader. The birth moment had greatly surprised him. However, the things he would witness afterward would deeply shake him. Asher gazed out of the spaceship window, taking a deep breath as they glided above the planet Quaria. For the past few weeks, he had slept with a mixture of excitement and curiosity. The Quarians were one of the most mysterious and fascinating species in the galaxy. The fact that they grew from the ground like plants, lived for centuries, and that their births were marked by grand rituals, captivated Asher. But what astonished him the most was the invitation he had received to witness this ceremony. The Quarians rarely communicated with humans, let alone invite them to partake in their cultural events, making this a truly rare occurrence. A subtle tension tightened in Asher's chest. This wasn't just a diplomatic mission. This could be a moment that would go down in human history. Little was known about the Quarians, but Asher had learned just how significant this birth ceremony was, one that occurred only once in a century. The individual being born would not only emerge with skills and talents, but would also be the planet's new leader. This was why Asher had been invited to witness such a special event. As the preparations for landing were completed, Asher adjusted his garment. He wore a long, dark ceremonial robe adorned with various symbols, a gift from Thranor, the current leader of Quaria. The ship's doors opened with a heavy sound. Stepping onto Quaria's surface, Asher was met with a faint floral scent. There was a strange coolness in the air, but it wasn't uncomfortable. Rather, it was refreshing. The sky was an unusual hue, shifting between deep purple and dark blue, adding a surreal dimension to the world. As he took his first step on the ground, he felt the earth tremble slightly beneath him. He wondered if this sensation was somehow linked to the Quarian birth ceremony. The ceremony site was situated just outside Quaria's capital, Nimrex. Hundreds of Quarians had gathered in serene silence, each dressed in ceremonial robes of flowing, vibrant fabrics. The scene struck Asher as deeply impressive. As he walked toward the ceremony site, he paused in awe at the immense architecture surrounding him. Towering crystal pillars reached toward the sky, emitting a soft light that made the air hum with energy. The Quarians' deep connection with nature made Asher feel the sanctity of the planet. In the center of the ceremony space was a sacred pit of earth, which the Quarians referred to as the source of life. The soil was a dark brown, yet within it thrived vibrant greenery. Asher's heart raced as he watched the Quarians circle around this sacred pit. Every face he saw was peaceful, but there was also a hidden sorrow beneath their calm expressions. For them, this was not just a birth. It also marked the nearing end of the life cycle of their current leader. Thranor, the aged leader, stood at the front of the gathering, his body frail, but his eyes still sharp and full of wisdom. Essel raised a hand in greeting to Asher. By now, Asher was familiar with Aquarian's preference for silent communication. Gestures and facial expressions were always more important than words. Even this simple gesture from Essel filled Asher with a sense of honor. The ceremony was about to begin. Asher moved to his designated place, eager with anticipation. At that moment, the Quarian priests entered the space. Each wore long robes of green and white, and they formed a circle around the sacred pit. With their heads raised to the sky, they began to hum a soft, sacred song. The tone of the chant seemed to resonate, as if coming from the depths of the planet itself. Asher realized this sound symbolized the Quarians' connection with nature. Gradually, a movement began within the sacred earth. At first, it was just a faint tremor, but soon it grew stronger. The soil seemed to swell, as though waking from a deep slumber. Asher watched in awe, unable to blink, as the miraculous moment unfolded before him. From the earth, a living being was emerging, rising like a plant from the ground. In the center of the pit, the form of a Quarian began to take shape. Slowly and gracefully, the figure's body emerged from the soil. Even at first glance, this new being exuded strength and wisdom. Its features were elegant yet firm, and its deep blue eyes glowed with the knowledge of the universe. Asher stared in disbelief at the fully grown being standing before him. It was true, The Quarians were born with their professions and skills already developed. The newly born leader, Zither, appeared immediately prepared, both physically and mentally. This moment in the ceremony was sacred for the Quarians. Everyone silently awaited the full emergence of Zither. Asher felt a deep sense of reverence in the air. He was overwhelmed by the profound historical and cultural significance of the Quarians, standing in awe of their age-old traditions. Asher approached Zither. Though it was not customary for a diplomat to come so close, the Quarian's nature was one of warmth and openness. Zither turned as Asher neared, his eyes gleaming with deep wisdom. "It is an honor to have a leader from another world present here," Zither said in a calm voice. "I hope the ceremony has helped you better understand the soul of my people." Not wanting to miss the opportunity, Asher bowed respectfully to the Quarian leader. "It has been a privilege to witness such a profound event," he said. "Knowing that your connection with nature runs so deep offers a new perspective for humanity. We rarely see such harmony on our own world." Zither nodded with a smile. "Our bond with nature is the heart of our planet. We are the children of the earth. This is why every birth is a sacred moment for us. Your presence here is a sign of the friendship between our planets." Asher was touched by Zither's sincerity. In a galaxy where interplanetary relations were often cold and distant, the warmth and hospitality of the Quarians gave Asher hope for the future. After the ceremony on Quaria, Asher spent days wandering the peaceful and serene planet. The grandeur of the event and the deep connection the Quarian people had with nature lingered in his mind. One afternoon, he ventured into the Loria Forest, one of the most sacred places for the Quarians. The forest was known both as a meditation spot and a spiritual sanctuary. Massive trees stretched towards the sky, their bright leaves singing in the wind. The air was filled with the fresh scent of the earth, and Asher found a sense of peace there. Yet, deep inside, he felt a tension brewing. As he moved quietly through the forest, every crackling sound and rustling of the wind sent a shiver down his spine. As he ventured deeper into the woods, his eyes were drawn to a structure in the distance. It was a temple, formed from towering stone columns and emanating a mystical aura. Asher had heard that this temple was connected to the Quarian cycle of birth and death, but standing before it now, he felt his curiosity rise to new heights. The temple, covered in vines that stretched towards the sky, stood silent, as if it had been waiting there for centuries. When he approached the temple, Asher touched the marble stones and felt a vibration. It wasn't just stone, there was an energy flowing within the structure. Deciding to enter, Asher moved cautiously inside. Once he stepped in, his surroundings changed completely. The interior was far larger than it seemed from the outside, and in the center, a bright beam of light rose from an altar. At that moment, Asher heard a voice. He instinctively followed the sound, and as he entered a wide hall, he saw Zither. The new leader stood beside the altar. Asher thought about stepping back, but his curiosity stopped him. He had to know what Zither was doing in this mysterious temple. Seeing Zither preparing to sacrifice himself shook Asher to his core. He rushed forward and stopped him. "Stop," Asher said, his voice firm but filled with concern. "You don't have to do this." Zither looked surprised. "Asher, what are you doing here?" "This is my duty. The planet's energy is out of balance, and only I can restore it." Asher placed a hand on Zither's shoulder and looked him in the eye. "There must be another way. Sacrifice can't be the only solution to the planet's problems." Zither hesitated for a moment. Thranner's words echoed in his mind. "Only sacrifice can save us." Former leader Thranner said this ritual was the only way, Zither replied, his voice uncertain. "What else can I do?" Asher took a deep breath. "We can explore other methods to understand the planet's energy balance. There must be a solution that doesn't require a life." Zither didn't oppose Asher's suggestion. A spark of hope ignited within him. Perhaps, as Asher said, there was another way to stabilize the planet's energy. Just then, a loud explosion reverberated through the temple. The stone walls shook, and dust filled the air. They both jumped up in shock. Asher quickly positioned himself beside Zither as guards rushed into the hall. What was that? Asher shouted, looking around. Zither scanned the area with a serious expression. It's happening. The energy imbalance has begun. The planet's core is collapsing. Another explosion followed, and massive stones began falling from the temple's ceiling. In a panic, Asher and Zither sprinted toward the corridor. Chaos was all around them. Stone columns were toppling, and giant trees were being uprooted. Quaria was descending into catastrophe. Despite the chaos, Asher trusted in Zither's resolve. Together, they would do everything they could to stop the destruction. Solving Quaria's dark secrets and saving the planet now rested in their hands. Zither and Asher went to see Thranor, but when he saw them, his face tightened with anger. I have protected this planet. For centuries, I have been the leader of these people. And you are young and inexperienced. Balancing the planet's energy is your duty. Why are you still here? Thranor barked. Zither and Asher were taken aback by Thranor's fierce resistance. Despite Thranor's defiance, Zither and Asher continued to search for a new solution. But as time passed, Thranor's stance hardened. Zither couldn't shake the former leader's words from his mind. Was there truly no solution other than sacrifice? At Ethan's suggestion, they formed a team to study the planet's energy. The humans were trying to understand the situation better by analyzing the planet's energy with advanced devices. They conducted their research in secret, trying to stay out of Thranor's sight. After days of work, Ethan and Zither made a shocking discovery. The planet's energy imbalance wasn't a natural disturbance, it was a deliberate intervention. Someone had intentionally disrupted the planet's energy, and there was only one person capable of such an act. Zither, shaken by the betrayal, turned to Ethan. Thranor, how could he do this? He said, his voice trembling with anger and disappointment. He had convinced the people that the only way to fix the imbalance was through sacrifice. By doing this, he would sacrifice Zither and maintain his own position, channeling the planet's energy into himself to gain eternal life. When Zither and Ethan realized Thranor's true intentions, they knew everything was in danger. The fact that the former leader had used the people's trust to strengthen his power and pursue eternal life made Zither more determined than ever. They had to stop Thranor, or the planet's energy would remain unstable forever, putting the future of the people at risk. Zither paused for a moment. The people need to know the truth. We must save them from this lie. But first, we have to stop Thranor. Zither and Ethan headed to the temple where the former leader resided, ready to confront him once more. This time, they were determined to expose Thranor's true nature. However, it didn't take long for them to realize that the old leader wasn't unprepared for such a confrontation. Thranor appeared before them, surrounded by soldiers loyal to him, a wicked smile on his face. I see you've figured it all out, Thranor said mockingly. But you won't live long enough to tell anyone. Zither stepped forward in anger. Thranor, your goal was never to protect the people. You invented this sacrificial ritual just to secure eternal life for yourself. I won't let that happen. Thranor raised his arms, looking up toward the temple's high ceiling. Someone as young and inexperienced as you couldn't possibly understand the true responsibility of leading this planet. Controlling the planet's energy and leading the people is no easy task, Zither. Eternal life is a reward for maintaining that balance. You must accept that the leader of this planet deserves to live forever. Ethan moved closer to Zither, whispering, Thranor's completely lost it. We have to stop him here, or the future of the people will be doomed. Zither nodded, locking eyes with Ethan in determination. Sacrificing me isn't the only way to balance the planet's energy. I won't allow my people to be trapped in an endless cycle. Thranor let out a laugh, his eyes gleaming with menace. Oh, really? Then I guess I'll have to stop you here, young leader. Suddenly, Thranor's loyal soldiers sprang into action. Zither and Ethan were trapped inside the temple, but they didn't retreat. The growing power within Zither, fueled by his understanding of Thranor's selfish use of the energy, made him stronger. A fierce battle erupted inside the temple. The soldiers attacked on Thranor's orders, while Zither focused on connecting with the planet's energy. Drawing from within, he channeled the temple's energy into himself. Ethan, using his technological devices, fought back against the soldiers and helped Zither at the same time. As the intense fight continued, Zither began to control the energy flowing through him. He sensed a connection to the core of the planet, and this link reversed the energy Thranor had tried to manipulate for his own gain. As the walls of the temple began to crack, Zither's power surged toward Thranor. Thranor was taken aback by the unexpected move. This is impossible. How can you? He shouted as Zither pushed him back with a concentrated wave of energy. After gaining the trust of his people, Zither began to restore the planet's energy balance. Thranor's dark influence slowly faded away, and under Zither's leadership, the people embraced a new future. With Ethan by his side, Zither helped unite the people and stabilize the planet's energy. Zither knew that this victory wasn't just his, it was a turning point for everyone. Zither felt fulfilled knowing that he had lived up to his responsibility as a leader to his people. Now, Quaria had been freed from the darkness, ready for a fresh start. Peace and tranquility reigned on the planet, and with Zither at the helm, the people looked toward the future with hope. I hope you had a good time. If you like my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye, see you in the next story.